Hello. I wanted to jump on. Oh, apparently my dog's saying hi as well. And I guess send my love to those of you that are, going through this experience, being impacted by COVID. And I really wanted to be able to share some of my wisdom with you to help you on that journey. Because, I know for a lot of you, you would have let friends and family know that, it's this person that you care about, they've tested positive for COVID, and, you're feeling all of the stress and the anxiety and what does this mean and what's going to happen and, how are they going to cope? How are you going to cope? All of this stuff is going on and your, whole system is feeling stressed out and anxious and, you're in that state of fight and flight or freeze. And, as much as you try and stay calm, as much as you try and think positive, and I'm sure some of these people that you're talking to are going, just positive and, you know, expect the best to happen and, trying to say all of the right things and be so, and I know I need to be positive and I know this and I know that. And no matter how well you're trained or how well you can normally stay in this positive mind frame, when you've got somebody that you love that is experiencing these symptoms and is going through this, that's really hard to be able to take that logical advice and stay positive. And that's why I wanted to jump on today and share this video with you, because when you're in that state of fight and flight, you're basically ready to fight, you're ready to run. Your whole logical side of the brain, all of the non-essential assets have been shut down so that all of your energy can go to fight, flight. And what that basically means is that your emotional state is heightened and your logical side of the brain is not available to you right now because it's all about instinct, about running, fighting, staying alive. It's pure emotion and instinct. There is no logical thinking about that whatsoever. That has been cut off to you. And so while you stay in that state, you don't have access to all of your resources. And I'm sure you've found yourself, in this place where you're going, logically, I know that, but the emotions taking over, the fears taking over, the anxieties taking over, the worries taking over. And you can try and logically talk yourself around, but it doesn't work. It does not work. And so I want to take you through a couple of processes today to shift that for you so that you can come back to a whole brain state where you can access all of your resources. You can access all of your brain, where you're able to find the place of calm and peace and positivity that you just haven't been able to access because of everything that's going on, because of that fear, because of that worry. And I want to take you through two processes. So the first one is going to be a whole brain state. And we use the body to do this. And I will talk you through the situation. And what we tend to do is, whilst we're worried about something and we're automatically going to worst case scenario, at the very same time, we're trying to avoid looking at it. We don't want to look at it. We can't look at it. It's too scary to look at, but we are looking at it and we can't look away. And we're just stuck in this space where we're fighting against ourselves. So when we go into this whole brain position, I'm going to talk you through it and I'm going to ask you to be an allowance of those thoughts, to look at what you don't want to look at, to look at what you are worried about. And it's going to be uncomfortable. But what is going to happen, because you're in this whole brain state position, as you look at it, as you're in allowance of it being there, it loses the power that it has over you. It will dissipate and you'll calm. And so we want to come to this place of, what place do you want to come to? What would be the ideal state for you coming out of this first process? It might be, well, I want to feel calm. I want to feel at ease. I want to feel non-attached to what's going on. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel confident. What is it for you? Set that intention that, instead of this stress and anxiety and worry, I want to feel level-headed. I want to feel calm. I want to feel confident that we've got this, that everything is working out. So set that intention and be open to me connecting in with your field as well. So we all have an energetic field. And, you've probably heard things like, we are all one and, we're all connected and all of these things. And whilst we're separate, our energy is also connected. And, you will have noticed if you've walked into a room where some people were arguing, even if you didn't hear the argument, you walk in afterwards, you can feel it. And there's that saying, you could cut the air with a knife. You can feel the tension in the air. This is an example of our energy fields being connected. So being open to me being able to connect with your energy. If you're watching this on the replay, it's still completely relevant and it will still totally work, because in that energy field, there is no time and space. And so being open to that connection, being open to get whatever you want out of this process, setting the intention for it to be as simple, as effective, and as powerful as possible so that you can release and dissipate all the stuff that's causing you that stress and anxiety so that you can find that place of level-headed peace, calm, confidence. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to get you to do is you can either lie down or sit down. You can't do it standing up. It's not going to work for you. So sit down or lie down. Make sure you're in a space where you're not going to be interrupted. And I would like you to cross your right ankle over your left ankle. So you've just got your ankles crossed right over left. And then with your arms, placing your arms out in front, cross your right wrist over your left wrist. Turn your hands so your thumbs are facing the floor and interlace your fingers. Now you can pop that down in your lap, or you can twist it up underneath so it's up under your chin, whichever is more comfortable to you. And we're going to stay in this position for 5 or 10 minutes. If you do need to let go for some reason, just pop yourself back into the position once you've done what you needed to do and continue on with the rest of the process. Okay. So now that you're in that position, closing your eyes. So obviously in a safe space where you're not going to be interrupted. Sitting or lying down with your eyes closed. And just take a deep breath all the way into your heart. As if you're breathing into your heart. And bringing this whole current situation to mind. Everything that's going on in your current reality. Thinking about it. When did it start? Were you advised that there was some symptoms? And remember what it felt like when you got that news. Was there some worry and anxiety that came up at that point? Remember what that felt like. When that person sort of got a sore throat or a runny nose or not feeling great. remember what went through your mind, what happened for you. And just allow it to be there, even if it's uncomfortable. And then what happened next? Maybe you went and got a test. And what did it feel like in that process? Were you with them or were you waiting at home? What was that waiting process like, leading up to getting the test and then following the test? Remember, what were you doing? What were you worried about? Just notice it, like watching a video of what's happened. Now, some of you will be able to see these things like a video visually, and others might hear things. And for some of you, it might be just remembering the feeling of it. You're going to imagine this differently. And however you imagine that memory, remember that memory is perfectly okay. And result, this positive COVID result, replay that in your mind. Notice how it feels in your body as you hear that news. And rewind that, play it again. And play it again. And play it again. Notice all of the detail. Replay it in slow motion now. Really be in it, really feel it. Notice it from all of the angles. What was going on as you got that news of the positive result? What happened in your body? There's no need to judge it or try and control it. Just be an allowance of what it was. And remember what other emotions you had there. Was there things like guilt? You know, maybe you were involved in taking them somewhere where they got infected. Maybe you passed it on. Maybe there's guilt that they've contracted COVID and you haven't. Maybe there's guilt that you now don't want to be around this person. And then you're in this conflict that, oh, they're my loved one. I want to be with them. I want to take care of them. I want to be by their side. But at the same time, I don't want to catch COVID. And I want to segregate from them. And maybe there's some guilt and self-judgment around that. Notice that. Allow that to be there. Allow that to come up, whatever it is, and just notice it. Just see it there. And as all of these things are coming up and replaying and you're revisiting them and you're allowing them to be there, notice that they also then just dissipate. And it's as they get to the height that all of a sudden it just dissipates. So if it's not dissipating for you, just drop some barriers, open your heart, and really be present with what it feels like. And as it gets bigger, as it gets more uncomfortable, it will dissipate and release. Well done. And during these first few hours of getting this news that there's a positive COVID result, remember what was running through your mind. Oh my God, I'm going to catch it too. What if they die? What are all of the worries and fears? What is that worst case scenario that you're worried will happen because of this result? And I know that's really uncomfortable. The more you can be open to at least looking at it, it's there anyway. You're feeling it in your body. It's there, even if you're refusing to look at it. So by looking at it, acknowledging it, it allows it to dissipate. So let's look at that. What is that worst thing that you could possibly happen? What are you so worried about? This anxiety that you're feeling. You're afraid of what happening? And then if that thing happens, what would that mean? You know, if this person was to pass away because of COVID, what would that actually mean? How would that impact you? And feel that, notice that. It's okay to acknowledge how we feel. And as we're in this whole brain state, we're also able to allow that to dissipate and shift as we look at it, as we acknowledge it. So you only need to be in the uncomfortable for a short amount of time and it will dissipate. Just breathe as you look at that. What would happen? That worst case scenario would happen. Then what else are you afraid of? What else are you worried about? How will it impact not just you, but everybody else? Other family members, children, parents and grandparents. What would it mean? Maybe there's some fear and anxiety around, well, at the moment only one person in the family has got it, but what if we all get it? Then what could happen? Be present with that. Just allowing yourself to play out those worst fears. Just staying in this whole brain position and breathing as you notice that, as you allow that. You may be needing to cry, and that's okay. That's part of the release. You might also find yourself taking some deep breaths or finding some movement or release in the body. You might find yourself yawning. That's just all part of the energy being released from your body and finding that whole brain state again. Well done. And I would like you now to start repeating out loud or in your mind over and over again. And as you repeat this statement, you will notice all of the contradiction and arguments that come up inside your mind. And then it will just get to a point where it just shifts and you become at peace with the statement. So repeating over and over again, I am safe. 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 Notice how it's shifting and changing. The thoughts that are coming through your mind are starting to change. I am safe. 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 And you can keep repeating that if you haven't come to a complete peace and calm with that statement yet. You keep repeating that for a little bit longer. And just breathe. If you have gotten to that peaceful, calm state, then you can let go of your hands, uncross your feet. Just take a couple of breaths, shake it out. We're not done yet. Okay, so once everything's uncrossed, feet flat on the floor or, separate, if you're lying down, bring your hands together and just, or your fingertips together, and just breathe. Just breathe. Well done. Well done. Okay. You can just relax now for a moment. Okay. So for some of you, you might feel like that's enough for today. That's, you might be feeling a little bit tired. You've released a lot of energy. You may be feeling much more centered and at peace, and noticing that you can think much more logically about the situation now. You can see possibilities that you couldn't see before. Drink plenty of water. Listen to your body. If you feel like you need to have a rest, have a rest. Because even though that, only took 10 minutes, it was really big energetically. So listen to your body, drink water, rest if you need to. If you feel up to staying on, I'm going to take you through a second process. And this time we want to come from creation. So we've released a lot of stress that was just there in the active experience with that last process. Now we want to look out into the future and really connect with what is the result we actually want to get. We want to visualize what we want to create for ourselves. Now, you can't create yours who's got this positive result in COVID. This is about how do you want to feel and be and act? What do you want your experience to be like in an ideal world? So if you could flick a magic wand and go, this is my outcome for me, this is what we're focusing on, you, because you don't have control over anybody else. Okay? So when we connect with a true choice, what we actually want to create in this world, and we hold true to that choice and we hold faith, we can stay in that higher vibration of creation rather than being dragged down into the fear and the doubt. And this is where we want to be, because your emotion, your energy, what's going on for you is also going to impact that other person, because we can all feel each other's energy and emotion. And so if you're feeling stressed and fearful and worried and anxious, then they are going to pick up on that, and that's going to add to their fear and worry and stress and anxiety. If you're calm if you're collected, if you're confident, if you're positive, then that is going to be picked up by that other person as well, and it's going to help them to calm. Have you noticed that when you're around certain people, that some people make you really high strung and anxious, and other people you just feel so calm and relaxed around? It's because you're picking up on what they're putting down. So we want to make sure that you're creating a space that is comfortable and calm and peaceful and positive, so that that has an influence on your environment as well. So when you have a look at, stepping out into the future, you've got your desired result, you've, waved your magic wand. What is that like for you? You might be feeling at peace, you might be feeling confident, you might be relieved that you've got the outcome that you were looking for. You might be recognizing yourself for how strong you've been, how you were able to move through a challenging situation with such grace and ease and positivity. Maybe you're recognizing yourself for being so strong, even when you didn't think you could. Maybe you're recognizing yourself for being able to remain calm and recognizing the influence that that had on that other person and on the people around you. How can you recognize yourself for the role that you played? When you're in reality, looking back, how can you recognize yourself for the role you played? What did you do well? And how do you feel about yourself because you did that well? And now that it's all over, in that desired reality out in the future, this whole thing is all over. What are you going and doing? How are you spending your time now that it's all over? Maybe you're having a picnic in the park. Maybe you're having a party. Maybe you're going out for dinner. Who are you doing it with? What are you doing and who are you doing it with? And notice what it feels like. Notice the looks on people's faces. Are people smiling? Are people hugging? Are people laughing? People chatting, just really relaxed and comfortable with, so much ease. What are you doing? Yeah. And so we want to put a pin in the roadmap here and go, hey, unconscious mind, superconscious, this is where we want to end up. This is what we want to create. So putting that pin in the roadmap. And then just coming back to the current reality where you are now. And we want to notice how now is different to that desired reality that we want. Notice how it's different. Notice that, it is only early days. You've only recently got a result. You still don't know how it's going to pan out. What do you think about this whole situation? Maybe you think it's unfair. Maybe you think it sucks. What do you think about this situation? And what do you feel about this situation? Frustrated, scared, alone? What do you feel? And what have you decided that this all means about you? Decided that no one's going to want to be around you. Maybe you've decided that the world's going to end. And what have you decided that it means about other people? Others don't understand. Others don't want to be around you. Others have got it easier than you. And what have you decided about the world in relation to this current situation? Maybe you've decided that the world's gone crazy. The world's ending. The world's unfair. The world's hard. That you can't make it in this world. Just notice all of that. And because we've gone out and we've connected with what we want the ending to be, that end result, and then we notice where we're at, there's a big gap between where we're at and where we want to be. And if that was on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being that ending, I just can't see how that's possible. It just feels so far away and impossible. I just can't possibly feel that way or have that. That would be a 10. And a 0 would be that right now. Where are you on that scale of 0 to 10? Just notice where you're at. Beautiful. And for this process, again, being open to me connecting with your field, with your energy field. And I'm going to talk with Superconscious as if Superconscious is a person. And I'm going to ask Superconscious to notice what you want versus where you're at. Notice all of the resistance it's causing havoc in between. And to release that resistance to increase satisfaction and decrease pain. So being open to that connection with your field. Taking a few deep breaths into your heart and closing your eyes. Essentially giving me that permission to connect with your field. Connect with Superconscious. And as I said, I'm just going to talk to Superconscious as though Superconscious is a person. You don't need to do anything. Just breathe and just notice whatever you notice. Superconscious, do you see the choice, that desired end result? Superconscious, do you see the current reality and all of that resistance to the choice? Superconscious, please use the football field metaphor. I've got this beautiful green football field. And as all of that resistance comes into the active experience, like gophers popping up all over the football field, creating havoc. Popping up, running all over the field, creating mounds of dirt everywhere. We can't possibly play on this field. It's a mess. Superconscious, would you treat all of that in the perfect order, in the perfect way to increase satisfaction and decrease pain? Thank you. Just breathe and just notice whatever you notice as Superconscious treats resistance to that desired reality. That's it. Just breathe. Excellent. Superconscious, any parts or aspects that are creating resistance to this choice, please explain the treatment process to them. Please reassure them that no parts or aspects will die here today and that they will all have the opportunity to join the treatment team to increase satisfaction and decrease pain. Are all parts willing to join the treatment team? Superconscious, please treat all parts. Please do a massive change history and everything that is needed. Just breathe, guys. Just breathe. Right down into your heart. Thank you, Superconscious. Superconscious, please treat the heart. With every breath, right down into the heart. Please treat the heart. Superconscious, do you see the fear of heartbreak? Please treat that now. Just keep breathing. That's it. Just breathe through it. Superconscious, please treat the lungs. And please treat any decisions in regard to the lungs. Any decisions and definitions in regard to the lungs, please treat those now and do a massive change history and everything as needed. Thank you. Awesome. Awesome. Well done. You're doing really well. I want you to notice that level of resistance now. If we've got a river, and at one end of the river is where you are in your current reality, and the other end of the river is the desired reality, that desired end result. And on that scale of 0 to 10, what's that level of resistance at now? How much resistance is still there? Please set the intention to treat all resistance to the appropriate level for today. Superconscious, do you see that remaining resistance? As if it's a big iceberg in the river. Superconscious, please treat that remaining resistance to the appropriate level for today. Just melting that resistance away. It's like it's melting the anxiety in the chest. Just treating it all in the perfect way, in the perfect order. And just keep breathing. And as that ice melts, it's just adding to that river. And notice there's a boat there. Hopping into the boat now. Superconscious, please treat resistance to hopping into the boat. And as the boat begins to flow along the river toward that desired reality, Superconscious, notice the resistance, holding it back, pushing it in the wrong direction. Treat that now. Notice the logs and rocks and sandbanks in the river. All of the debris. The sharks, the crocodiles, the snakes, the serpents, everything in the river that's creating danger and stopping this boat from just flowing with peace and ease to that desired end result. Please treat all of that now in the perfect way, with love, with gratitude, with thanks, knowing that everything in this universe has its place, and everything in its place has its gifts. Even when they're scary, there is gifts. Any resistance to being able to see the gifts within the fear, within the situation, please treat all of that now. Thank you. And as that boat begins to flow toward that desired reality, just bubbling up any hidden resistance underneath the water, bubbling that up and treating it, doing a massive change history so the boat is flowing with ease and grace and peace and calm, non-attachment, with confidence all the way through to that desired reality. And stepping out into that future desired reality now. Stepping into it as if you've got it, as if you are it. You've gotten there, it's done, it's over. You can take a breath. Drop your shoulders, knowing that everything's okay now. Just feeling that relief and calm. Feeling that resolution. And recognizing yourself for the strength that you had to achieve it. And stepping out and doing all of the things that you're going to do in that desired reality. Who are you going to spend time with? What are you going to do? What is it going to be like? Notice the smiles and the connections and the laughter. Feel the hugs. Feel the happiness. Feel the fun and adventure and enjoyment of life. Superconscious, do you see all of the empowering emotions and beliefs? Superconscious, please treat these now to a massive change history and enhance them to the maximum degree possible. Just breathe, guys. Beautiful. Really soaking up that peace, that enjoyment, that connection, that confidence and strength. That strength of coming out the other side of something challenging. That exhale of, it's over. Soaking it all up. Really being in it. Really being in it. Beautiful. Superconscious, please ground all of the memories we've touched today, all aspects, levels, and layers, grounding them into the matrix of the universe. Thank you. Just notice, guys, where are you at on that scale of 0 to 10? How much resistance is still there? Just notice how it's changed and shifted for you. And any movement is great. Any movement is great. You can open your eyes when you're ready. As you go through this journey over the next days and weeks, you can come back, re-listen to this, do it again. Every time you find yourself getting into that worry, anxious, fear, come back. You can redo the first process or redo the second process or both. It's up to you. But the more you do this, the more of that stuck energy and emotion you're going to release. And it's going to allow you to keep coming back to that whole brain state where you can access all of your logical thinking, all of your resource, all of the possibilities, and find that peace, calm, confident space where you can be the strength for your loved one. And then they can receive that from you. I send you love. I wish you all the best. Take care. be strong, and come back and utilize this resource. If you want more information, if you've enjoyed this video, this experience, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, and there's also some links below in the comments if you're wanting to reach out, find out more about what I do or how I can help you, then you can click on those links and access that information there. Take care. Bye for now.